Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Haxenhunt. Today's video, we are doing the top two bows of 2024 in some people's opinions against each other. So we've got the Mathews Lift 29.5 up against this year's Hoyt Rx8 30. So we are super pumped to put these two head to head, see which one performs a little bit better. Yes, it is aluminum versus carbon, but they are both the top of the line bows for each company. So super pumped to see which one performs better, which one's more comfortable, which one shoots faster, and see which one I'd rather go home with today. Both of them are both very light carbon and aluminum, which is crazy to think that Mathews was able to get something light enough to even compare or compete with carbon. Honestly, it's lighter than the Hoyt. So super pumped, put these two head to head, and let's just dive into it. Let's see which one shoots and performs better, and I'll share all my thoughts with you guys. Real quick, guys, I just want to interrupt this video and let you know I'm giving away my personal Mathews V3 to one of you guys. There's only 250 entries, and if you want to get entered in, all you got to do is go to haxenhunt.com, purchase a hat, and you're entered in automatically. There are only 250 hats, only 250 entries. Only 250 people are going to be able to win my Mathews V3. It should be ending here shortly. I've got just a few hats left. As soon as the hats are sold out, you'll see it on my website. So yeah, I'm pumped to give away my V3 to one of you guys. So if you want to get in, go to haxenhunt.com, buy a hat to win a bow. First up to bat is going to be that Lift 29.5. Very light, very solidly balanced in the hand. I feel like it's got a super good base to it, but let's see how this thing shoots. Oh, again, I'll show you guys, I am shooting a new release. For those of you guys that ask all the time, this is the Scott Apex Core thumb button release. Honestly, I've really enjoyed shooting it. I feel like going from a index release, it's gotten rid of my target panic quite a bit. I usually punch the trigger, and this I don't punch whatsoever. All right, draw cycle. Smooth, consistent, constant like weight in the pole. String angle kind of sucks. That one almost jumped out of my hand. It doesn't jump forward, I just was not, I mean, maybe it does a little bit, but was not holding it at all. Very quiet, very, very dead in the hand. Shoot that again. Back wall is as solid as they come without being a limb stop. Okay, let's shoot this. Very consistent. I don't know, it's a comfortable shooting bow, 100%. Such a small platform. And for how small and light it is pretty steady and consistent. Like, I feel like it does settle on the target, like probably a 7.5 out of 10, I would say, as far as the settling goes. Let's shoot that again. Again, this is up 70 pounds, 30-inch draw. Comfortable to shoot. But let's shoot this Rx8. And for those of you guys that complain that when I leave this on, I'm gonna take that off and show you guys the bow without it. It does make it a little bit lighter, which then competes with that Lift. Balance is easier set in the hand. I feel like the grip allows it to kind of stay in the hand a little bit better, to be honest. Draw cycle. Let's see if it's any better than that Lift. It definitely feels heavier to pull. Anchoring position is more comfortable. This bow has got to be shooting quite a bit faster. It does feel a little bit more aggressive on the aftershock. There's a very solid back wall, very comparable. It's definitely louder. I'm sure you guys can hear it in the video itself. I'm not saying that it is loud, but that Lift is like dead silent, which if something's that quiet, that's going to be very helpful in the woods. Yeah, I'm curious to see what speed this thing is shooting, because it's gotta be pushing well over 300 with a 400 grain arrow. Very dead in the hand. There's no like shock, but I feel like there might be more of an aggressive like jump forward, like barely. And I think it's just due to it is shooting a lot faster. Draw cycle definitely goes to the Mathews. And it's a lot quieter. So a lot quieter, and draw cycle is a lot smoother on this lift than that RX8. I do want to see what they are doing performing wise through the chronograph to see how much faster that Hoyt feels like it's shooting. I want to see, put numbers to it and see what it really is. Overall, I mean, both are killer feeling bows. Let's just get into the speed test real quick. Put the two head to head with 400 up to 520 grain arrows. See which one is getting the better speed. All right, speed test. We are gonna start with the Mathews Lift 29.5. First up to bat is going to be my 400 grain arrow. Again, setup is 30-inch draw, 70-pound limbs. We're at 306. Decent speed out of that. Let's shoot 420 grain. .303. Kept it pretty consistent. 440 grain. .297. 440 grain at 297, that's pretty good speed. All right, 480. 282. 500 grain. 277, and then my heaviest arrow at 520 grains. We are at 272. Pretty solid speeds coming out of that Mathews Lift 29.5, from 272 up to 306, 307. Pretty solid. I am curious to see how much faster the Hoyt. It just feels faster, so I'm sure it is, but let's shoot it and see how much faster it really is. All right, next up bat is this Hoyt Rx8. Very excited to see what speeds this is getting. Again, same setup at 70 pounds, 30-inch draw. Here's a 400 grain arrow. Definitely shooting faster at 315 feet a second. Super solid speed with that 400 grain. Okay, here's a 420 grain arrow. 311. Gosh, great speeds out of that. 440 grain arrow. 306. So this Hoyt is shooting a 440 grain arrow, the same speed as Mathews is shooting a 400 grain arrow. Whatever that says to you, definitely is a much better speed. Let's shoot 480 grain. .289. That's fast. And a 500 grain arrow. .285. That's kind of like, well, the sweet spot for me with a 500 grain arrow is like 275. So the fact that it's shooting 285, 500 grain arrow at 70 pounds says a lot. I would personally probably get this bow in an 80 pound, and I'd be real curious what it, because that was the 500 grain is my personal hunting arrow. And so if I could be shooting 80 pounds, we'd probably be pushing 300, which would be insane. All right, 520 grain. 281. So I think it was 272 with that 520 grain out of that Mathews. So you are looking at 9 feet a second faster with that heaviest arrow, and basically, yeah, 9 on the high end. So it's shooting quite a bit faster out of that Hoyt Rx8. So both are shooting super killer bows. The Mathews is definitely a lot quieter. So I feel like the speed makes up for the quietness, and the quietness makes up for the speed, if, you know, whatever way you go. I would recommend, if you have the opportunity to go shoot these bows, I would recommend highly to go shoot them against each other and see how they feel to you. This is all my opinion on how I feel which one I would go home with. Honestly, the way they settle and the speed, I would go with that Rx8. Yes, it is an expensive bow, so we're not going to bring the price into this one because it is aluminum versus carbon, and even though it's not even lighter than the aluminum, I do enjoy having the carbon due to hunting late season stuff. It does not freeze to your hand like aluminum does. Anyway, so that's probably what I go home with. If I want to save a little bit of money, I'd probably have no problem buying the lift. Both are insane bows. Really appreciate you guys' support on my channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a ton, as well as if you want to help support the channel a little bit further, go to haxenhunt.com and purchase some merch. Coming out with some new stuff pretty often here and there. So if you have any video recommendations that you want to see me do, go ahead and leave that in a comment on any of my videos, and I will try to get to it as best as I can. But anyway, really appreciate your support, and we will see you guys next time.